Welcome to JackHorny.com show.
Okay folks, I'm just going to do this again. I just spent ages doing it and then realised I haven't pressed the record button. So today I'm just going to cover why I think feminists is more of a religion than anything, and how it holds women back rather than helping them. Now, religion, I'll compare it somewhat to Christianity, to be fair. First thing to do before I go into it is that when anyone argues England's a Christian country, it's not really. It's a pagan country where Christianity's sort of taken it over. So things like Easter, Christmas, blah blah blah, most of these were pagan holidays, rituals, and Christianity took them over as theirs. Basically the state, the kings and queens, had no control over paganism. So you've got Christianity comes along where they can control it. And with the UK, the royal family, I believe, are supposed to be descendants from Jesus. The paperwork fiddled so that basically they could control everything. So Christianity becomes a state religion. A bit like Muslims, I think, in some countries becomes a state religion, while other religions sort of are independent of the state. Even the cross I've read, I don't know if it's true, is that originally it was actually a pagan symbol. It was a horse, why do I keep saying horse? It was a snake with a skull on the top. I think it was a ram's skull or a ram's head or something. And over the years that developed into a cross for Christians. And in reality, a lot of the pagan stuff is sort of eradicated. But if you look at the old church, I suspect you can see paganism. You see the little nude people or weird looks on the top, weird heads you've got carved into churches, the old ones. There's a lot of pagan stuff still there. I suspect what we do, a lot of it is paganist. Even getting married, the weddings we have in the country probably go back to pagan times rather than Christian times. But so it does bug me when I hear people say, "Oh, we're a Christian country." We're not. We're a pagan. It's nonsense. Even today we have pagan. You have small blobs of pagan things, such as the what they call them, dancers, where they hit each other with sticks and stuff, and black up in some places and dance around. Anyway, and you've got the maypole as well, which is also another pagan thing. And yeah, it was always tough. They could never really eradicate paganism, but Christianity tried to, so it would be brought under the control of the state. So the state could then control people rather than independent people. After all, if you're a king, you want to, or a queen, you want the religion under you, so you then have the authority to execute people or do whatever you want and say it's God's will. You can control people a lot more. So anyway, but the point is, Christianity, to me, in my mind, is about controlling people, holding people back. And it has held people back for years. It tells people who are poor, you should remain poor, you should be happy to be poor, because you'll have an afterlife. You see this, suffering becomes, you should be able to suffer because in the afterlife you'll be rewarded. There's no afterlife, it's called baloney. And those who do actually believe in Christianity, they don't believe in the afterlife in reality, because deep down they don't. They might claim to be. It doesn't matter if they're out preaching in the streets going, "Oh, hell, there'll be hell, blah blah blah." The reality is that every Christian just about will go to hospital if they're ill. They'll cry if a relative dies. So deep down they know that. You see, fundamentally people deep down know there's no afterlife. So they hold on to life as much as they can. If you fundamentally believed that there was an afterlife, you'd never be crying at a funeral, you'd be celebrating. and you wouldn't want to be cured from any illness, because the Bible has a sort of, in most Christianity beliefs, a sort of there's a little clause that you can't kill yourself because you won't go to heaven, but natural dying you will. That's the clause. So the Christians would actually welcome getting ill. They would not seek any form of. They'd hoped for death. They'd be, instead. It always made me giggle when I was at church when I was a kid, because we're supposed to pray for people to stay alive. Well, surely you'd be praying for them to die, go to this better place. So the reality is, it's just cobblers. That, I mean, people make me laugh. So if you're a Christian and you want to bang on to me that I'm going to hell or something, well, let me see if you don't go. You know what I mean? Prove you really believe it by not going to hospital. Let yourself die. I don't think you will. I suspect you'll do everything to stay alive or keep your relatives alive, because they always do. That's the bottom line. So I've never come across anyone I've thought was really a Christian. Never have done. They say the words, they prance around. When I was at church, so they all did the little dance when we did the singing songs. They all stood up. The ones wanted to look like they were really religious, and they'd dance with their eyes closed, waving their arms up in the air. Yeah, really impressed me. I just thought it was ridiculous. You look ridiculous, trying to pretend, but perhaps in your mind you thought your God was going to be impressed by that. No one else was. Or perhaps you just try to impress the person next to you, to try and look more godlike than them. I mean, I wasn't interested. It just baloney. Oh, look at me, I'm waving my hands in the air. I'm so religious, and I've even got my eyes closed to show I'm more religious. Yeah, sod off. Doesn't impress me. So if you're one of them people, you're a joke. Hope you feel really stupid now, because you look really ridiculous when you do it. But I'll move on. So, to me, as I say, religion holds people back. It held people back guilt-wise also. I don't know, someone's just texted me. I mean, sexually it holds people back, because it puts forward this ideology that sex has to be from only one point of view. So being gay or lesbian is wrong. Although the Christians then go, we still love you if you are, but you've got to convert. So what you end up with is a lot of people who are Christian pretending to be straight, and then living a life of misery, just to keep other Christians happy. Yeah, very nice. I mean, these Christians so much have love that they kick out the kids if they turn out to be gay, because they can't cope with it. They just go, oh, I failed as a Christian. Why are you being gay? Because we're told that you can't be gay if you brought up our way. They're so loving. And then they force them into some sort of therapy. It's just garbage. You should be ashamed of yourself if you ever do that. Absolutely disgraceful. But that's why I can't be bothered with religion, especially Christianity. It's just baloney. It's full of hatred for others, pretending to be nice. You see, the rules are, as long as you comply by the rules, we'll love you. But if you don't comply by our beliefs 100%, we won't say we hate you, but we do. We'll just pretend we love you, but we're kicking you out. Sod off. But with reality, with feminism, it's a religion in many ways. You start off with somebody preaching about it. So you've probably got an academic who'll bring up some quite interesting points. Probably need debate and discussed, which is fine, And then the trouble is, then other people come along and pick up on some of the points, either directly or indirectly. And when I say indirectly, they might twist the points to suit their beliefs. And then they go out and preach it. They become sort of these, a bit like priests. They turn themselves into priests because it gives them power. They make themselves feel they're probably not too bright, but it gives them the sense that they're more intelligent than they are. They go out and they want to preach the word of this feminist thing. So what it does is you have them women going out and they preach the word that in modern days, they say, you're a victim to men, you're a victim. Whoa, woe is you. And they invent invisible barriers. So women then start feeling that they can't achieve. That's the message they're told. Do not achieve. Believe what we say. Now, the trouble with feminists is that they tend to be mainly white, and they're always middle class. I mean, I never even bother saying mainly middle class, because I've not seen ever come across anyone who's working class who's a feminist. Tends to be middle class women looking down upon other working class women, working class men too. I mean, it tends to be a case of looking down on others, telling them what to do, telling them how they should think. So we've got this with this week, haven't we, folks, with the stripping club, where you've got women, middle class women, refusing to speak to these working class women because they're dirt to them, completely dirt. I mean, they don't like them. Let's not kid ourselves. And we know these working class women are doing it to go to uni. One even said it on the BBC interview, Ellie, I think she was called. So they're sending people to spy on these women. They're justified in their mind because they're the middle class, superior, with the might. Like Christians, they feel they've got the sword in the hand and the shield of justice to go to war. And that's how they see themselves. Very much like Christians, very much like the right-wing Christians. Their view matters, and they should convert others to their beliefs, their religion, their religious ideology. Only their religious ideology counts. Other people's views don't. And we saw that in one of the interviews. I think it was even the BBC one, where the feminist states that the just because the women choose to do it, that's it, unimportant. We choose. Their views don't matter. Only our views matter. Very much like religions. You know, Christianity does this. We are the correct religion. So our religious ideology only matters. So we have to dismiss your beliefs as nonsense. You don't count, you're garbage. And so this is what. So you get this abuse put in. You know, it's now stating that men in the past, or maybe today, are the ones who control things, telling women what to do and think. Well, they're the ones now doing it. But it's okay because they're women and they've got the shield and sword of justice of feminists, of this religion, this new religion. And then they start even bolting on facts which aren't true. So you'll often hear them say things like those women in the past who fought for the right to vote, they'll claim they were feminists, which they weren't. Feminists didn't exist. And then when that's pointed out, they say, oh yes, but they would have been. They might have been conservatives. They might not have gone along with feminism. And that's your point, because, you know, I think you'll find conservative women believe in the vote. They're not left-wing. So you've got that aspect of women telling other women what to do and think. But then it moves on. And this is where it gets really depressing. Because rather than helping women, saying, yes, you go forward and you can become anything you want, they're in fact saying, don't try, you're a victim, and find absolutely every excuse why you can't achieve anything. So they'll even say things like the air conditioning at work, it's the wrong temperature for women, so that holds women back. The men opening the legs slightly, not crossing the legs, that's somehow holding women back. If a man even talks to you, he's mansplaining, so that holds you back. And it goes on and on and on. These are psychological barriers that don't exist. That's all they are. They're just made up. But it puts in the minds of women that they're going to fail, which they're not. Now, they'll then come out with you can't get from A to B because you're not gone to the right uni, you're not male, you're not this, that, and the other. And it's everyone. The problem is, you see, is that we've all, although we're all equal in England, in reality, you could probably say the royal family got special exempt powers, so they can do what they want. But the majority of people are equal, but we're also at the same time not equal, because we've all got different skills, different abilities. So I'm a bit of a thicker. So the reality is, dear listeners, you're probably more intelligent than me, and therefore you're better than me in some ways. That's just a fact. You know, you might be able to run faster than me, or walk faster than me, or I might be able to walk faster than someone else, or run faster than them. We have different abilities, different intelligence, and we also have different viewpoints. And you might, maybe your family background may affect things. So maybe if your dad's got works for a solicitor's firm, might help you get in there easier. Yeah, that's fine. The left and all this cobblers about trying to make things fairer. You can't do it. It doesn't exist. But the trouble is the left and the feminists want to try and pretend that they can flatten everything out. Now, we want to put it another way. It's a bit like having 3 children, and you have a chocolate bar, and I then say, well, there's a chocolate bar, split it between them. Now, the left will probably split that into 3 ways. Give each child a piece, a third each, because of 3 children. That's their simple way of seeing things. Then I turn around and say, child 1's a diabetic, and the chocolate's just killed him. And child 2 was starving. He didn't get enough chocolate, so he's died. And child 3, he was fine, absolutely overweight, and that chocolate just pushed him over the edge. You've killed him. So in reality, the child 2 would probably have been better off having the whole chocolate. But socialism and the left don't see things like that. They don't ask questions, and that's why socialism fails in that regards when it comes to benefits and things, because no one ever has the foresight to question anything. It's always presumed. And then people get upset when I point this out, and they go, oh, well, you never told us that. And I said, well, that's the whole point. You didn't ask. That's why it always fails. But anyway, with regards to the feminists, if you're telling women all the time that you should fail, or there's barriers there, people don't try. And we know, and I mean, I posted this Piers Morgan post, it shows that telling women that the world's run by men is a lie. It's not. You've got most parties in the country have female leaders, and they're not there because as token gestures. I wouldn't have thought. I think they're put there because they can do the job. They prove themselves. So the Green Party leader, I always forget her name, Lucas, I forget. It was an excellent person, and even I think people even who aren't in the Green Party or Green Party supporters think she's very interesting to listen to. It's not often I see people complain about or condemn her, because she sort of speaks very intelligently. So I think she's got there on her own merits, and I think that's important, because when you get someone such as the Labour Party, they seem to want to push people not on their merits, but either on the colour of the skin, sexuality, whatever sex they are, which is not good. That's politics of the 70s. People have moved on from that. Anyway, the argument I'm putting forward is that feminists, I don't see them helping women at all. I think they do, but to me, I mean, I was listening to an interview on YouTube, and she was arguing because a lot of women like, especially middle class, like to say, I'm a feminist. And it's quite trendy to say that. I'm a feminist, she went. And then she said, well, the reason I'm a feminist is because I want to remove these barriers for women. And this is the trouble. These barriers may not exist, but only in the minds of people, by telling them they do. I mean, if you tell people that the air conditioning is a sexist thing and going to hold women back, my God, that's a dangerous thing, because it automatically means that anyone who works in a such as an office will now psychologically be thinking, I'm being held back because of the air conditioning. 10 minutes ago, before they were told that, they didn't see that barrier. They might have become the manager, but now they're being told, oh, you're going to fail. And if you don't achieve management position, it's because of that. I mean, this is the other problem, this flip, because I keep hearing a lot that some women are being overlooked for jobs. They say, oh, that bloke's been given the job and she hasn't. Now, the problem there is that it automatically suggests that that woman is equal in every skill level to that bloke. Now, she might have not been there as long, she might not be as clever as him, she might not have the skills, knowledge, blah, 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 that he's gained. Therefore, he was more suitable. This automatically presumption that women should be given equality upwards is in some way dishonest, because if this woman's not as skilled, she isn't as equal, and therefore shouldn't be given the position. It reminds me when I did a sales job years ago, and I broke my leg, and in it I stayed in the office side, and I was basically I was phoning companies up to get them say so they could do the sales thing. Now, in it, there was one of the women. She was brilliant. She did everything but correctly. She worked hard, and I thought she was perfect at this role. Yet she had an equal another woman there, this fat woman, and she was basically lazy, fat and lazy. And she was breaking the law because she was printing. She couldn't be bothered doing any work, so she just went on the internet, pressed a button, and printed out a page from that any Wally could have done. I said, well, what's no good to me? Yeah, she was actually getting the companies, the correct companies I needed. She couldn't be bothered. And later in that week, I was in the lift with one of the managers who happened to be female, and she said, "Oh, so and so's great," and she went, "Yeah," and she said, "Oh yeah, because she's organised the Christmas party." I went, "Oh," I mean, I thought, what's that to do with the work? And they actually promoted her over this other woman who was actually really good. But, I've noticed that if you're fat and lazy, they seem to employ you, push you up, because you're usually the one who shouts off that, you're a victim. Well, sadly, this woman who was, she was quiet. She was a bit of a mouse, but she was good at the job. She was excellent, actually. She really worked hard at it, and it was. I left that week because I could see what was going to happen, and it did. They got into trouble because this stupid fat woman was breaking the law. And when I say breaking the law, I mean she was doing data protection wrongly. She was sending people out in an incorrect way. There was a lot of problems that even somebody with a bit of not too bright should have known. And even I think I pointed it out, but because she was fat and a woman, I think they thought, oh, we better not tell her off. But anyway, I mean, I've noticed that. I've been in a few firms where the one they employ seems to be the fat, lazy woman over the other women. I mean, it's a little tip for you. If you ever want to progress in a company, be as fat as you can. I mean, I don't know why they do it. If it's simply because they're the ones that usually mouth it off more and stamp the feet and claim that they're the victims. Or if it's because they think, well, they're so ugly, they won't have kids, so they're not going to have time off work. But anyway, I've noticed that. That's a little observation of mine. And I know that'll upset people. Say, no, you can't call people fat and ugly. Yeah, we can, because they are. I mean, good grief, when I was a student nurse, one of the tutors, she was so overweight. She was a really unpleasant woman. She'd literally sit there farting. It was disgusting. I mean, I used to have meetings with her, and she'd just sit there farting with no shame. And because we're all politically correct, we're not supposed to say, you're disgusting. But she was. I mean, anyway. But that's my little rant. Perhaps you disagree with me, but I think I'll probably come back to this. This is why I don't like feminism, because I don't see it helping women. I really don't. And I think most people, the gut reaction, or should I say gut instinct, is feminism is wrong, because they listen to this rubbish and they know deep down it's not correct. It just sounds wrong. Like I say, You know, for all these women who go on and they make themselves into their little, because they act like priests, some of these women, when they're banging on saying, oh, women are all victims, and they go on about how, and they use words like misogyny. They repost things as if they're really clever by re-quoting some other woman. They never have thoughts of their own. They just seem to regurgitate something someone else has said, as if they're really clever, and it gives them a little power. But it doesn't achieve anything. They just seem to sit in what do they call themselves? What do they call it these days? One of them little rooms where no one else can hear. Echo chambers, that's it. They seem to sit in echo chambers just telling other women who believe the same thing how they're all victims, how everything's against them. And it doesn't achieve anything. They don't achieve anything. They just sit unachieving. But I think it makes them feel better. They think they're changing the world. They're not. It's sad, really. Because other women go out and do things. Other women go out and become solicitors, doctors, surgeons, prime ministers, astronauts, or cosmonauts if you're Russian. That they achieve anything they want. Because I think they don't listen to this garbage. And that not everyone, I mean, you're telling me Margaret Thatcher comes from a well-off background. She was a shopkeeper's daughter, but she was very, very intelligent. You know, she achieved things because she was intelligent. I mean, you look at what she achieved before she became Prime Minister. I mean, I think she was a qualified lawyer, a chemist. I mean, she was an incredibly intelligent woman. But I think it's because she didn't believe in this feminist nonsense. And the trouble is, the only thing that feminists seem to achieve is they manage to get a doctorate at universities. That's all you ever see them do. They don't really do much else. I think it holds women back. And I feel sorry for women who listen to this guff because they're held back and then they want to hold other women back, like these strippers, who could go on and, you know, it's not, they've not asked, none of these strippers have asked to be saved. They can leave at any time. And that's the impression that they're held. It's those men. I mean, they make out that the strip clubs are run by men. Some of it run by women. I mean, we know the porn industry. I mean, it's the area I do know. I mean, we know that 99.99% of... No, here we go, more text. 99.999% of porn is produced by women because they do webcam. They work for themselves. When I point that out to feminists, they go, but the websites might be run by men. And it gets ridiculous. They have to find some element where it's only controlled by men. And again, they don't know it's run by men. It could be run by women. I don't know. I know people who work for these webcam firms are women because they go on forums and meetups and they go to meetings and they're women. So that doesn't really work. And we also know that even with the websites, there's women who own and run the websites. We know that women film the porn. We know that women, I mean, I know there's quite a few sites that are lesbian run sites where it's just women. This nonsense, and we also know that you've got sites like BDSM where women are fully clothed assaulting men. So this nonsense that it's all men abusing women is just such garbage, and it's shameful. But like I say, it's a religion, so you have to lie. That's what religions do. They lie. Anyway, it looks like I'm having to get off, folks, because I'm getting a lot of text. So I'll chat to you later, and I might come back to this because it's just what day is it? It's Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday today. It feels like Saturday. I'm completely lost these days. And if I hear more, I'll come out with proper. This is just a rough thing, but I'll try and come back with facts if need be. Ciao.